Hey everybody, so my name is Sarah and I am one of the staff members that works in the Electric City Creative, which is our brand new makerspace that will be coming 2022. We're very excited. So for this winter reading, which winter reading is something that we do in end of December, beginning of January every year. It's kind of like summer reading, but it's a little more low key. We thought that we would do a super fun contest of crafting and arting. So we are doing a contest for taking this geometric snowman. As you can see, this is what it will look like built, but not decorated. And your task, should you wish to compete, is going to be to take this and turn it into a book character. So it has to tie to a book, and it can tie to any kind of book. We don't care what the book is. It can be nonfiction, so you can do a historical figure. And what we're going to do is, starting on December 17th, you'll be able to pick up kits in order to build your snowman. And inside your kit, you're going to get these three pieces, so head, middle, base. And they're going to have little score lines is what we call them. These were all made with a Cricut, which you guys will have access to with the Makerspace. And so on that score line, you're just going to fold it, and that's how you're going to get the shape. And we'll have instructions in it, but I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea of, you know, this is what it's going to look like. So there you can see how the base is already coming together. So with looking at turning this into a book character, we are going to be doing it in 3 different age categories. So we are going to have, you know, artists 12 and under, and then we're going to have 12 to 18, and then we're going to have 18 plus. We have a local artist who's going to be judging these, and we're going to give you guys some fun, cool, creative prizes that are going to tie to each age. So I'm going to show a little bit of examples by what I mean of different ways that you can do that. So I've got some examples with that staff has done, and we've got some clearly very, very creative, crafty staff. So one of the rules we have is that whatever you do to your snowman is going to essentially have to fit within 8.5 by 11, so a piece of typing paper size. So whatever you add to it has to fit within that space, and we don't want it taller than like a foot. So you don't have to create a scene, but if you wanted to create a scene, this is an example that one staff member did, and this is one of my favorite examples actually. So this is based off of the book Picasso Painted a Snowman. So they created more of a scene because, you know, they've got the paint, they've got the paint palette, and then they've also done a Picasso art style to the snowman. And this was one, like, if you're going to do something like this, you probably want to color it maybe before you put it together. So that's one thing to think about when you're doing that. Another really cool scene one, and this was done by one of our reference librarians, is this really cool one of Frida Kahlo. So this is what I mean by you being able to do like a historical figure. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a book character. So Frida Kahlo is a painter. And so you can see here that she created a base with a carpet, and then Frida Kahlo painting her self-portrait. So with these, the first one with Picasso and the snowman, that's just literally, it's markers. She used markers, and then she created the designs, and then she glued it together. You can see that this is a little more involved in a different way because that's a lot of creative coloring and designing. With this, we've got a skirt that was made out of fabric. We've got a felt shawl coming on, and we've got some felt and yarn in order to create the hair. I'm gonna set that down so I can turn it around. So you can see that we've got like a little bun here. And to really pull in the face, this is actually printed, a face printed on cardstock. So you can see that that's one way that you can kind of approach with creating it. She created the paintbrush is literally like a toothpick with just a little bit of yarn on the end. So that's one way that you could do it. Now, if you're not looking at going and creating a full scene, because you don't necessarily have to, you can do something like this. Very wonderful one that I'm sure that most of you are picking up on what book this might have come from. Obviously, this is Stephen King's It. So obviously with this, you wouldn't really necessarily need a scene to like add to it or necessarily heighten what book character you're highlighting. And what's fun about this one is Daniel, who's down in our extension department, actually did this one, and he's very comic booky and artsy. But what he did this with is this is just tissue paper. He literally took tissue paper and wrapped it around and created these things, and then these are just like those craft pom-poms that you see, and this was just like a piece of wire. And he used a hot glue gun to glue it together. I think that Dottie did hers with a hot glue gun, and Jana actually used, like the Aleene's, I call it the gold glue, but it's like that craft glue. So there's a lot of different ways that you can put them together. And as you can see already, like several different supplies on this one in order to create the face. Daniel drew out the eyes, but other than that, he literally just covered it in tissue paper. This one, another staff member did, and this is actually done with paint markers and paint. And this is Crime and Punishment. So that's another thing that you can do is you can literally just use paint or markers and just color directly on. And he created the arms just out of paper. So you don't have to go, crazy and do wires, or like on this one, we have doll arms that got sacrificed. So there's a lot of cool ways that you can do it that keep it within the character element without going like too out of your way and getting extra supplies for this. So the last example that I have to show, and we'll highlight some other staff ones, and as we get patron examples in, we'll post those to our different social media sites so you can see the cool stuff that people are doing. This is Coraline from the new game and title, Coraline. So with this one, we have got marker as a component of it. We also, and if you've seen Coraline, you're going to totally get like buttons for eyeballs. And then we've got wire hands, and then the coat is actually also made out of felt. And then we've got buttons glued on for that, and then we've got blue yarn to create the hair, because Coraline's got really cool blue hair. So a couple different examples of kind of like the different directions you can go and different ways you can go with this. This is something that like you can be as simple as like for it to be Harry Potter, you could just like draw glasses on it and put like a little lightning bolt on it. The key is to just do something creative with the snowman that ties it back to a book. So the kits will be available to pick up at any of your library locations starting on December 17th. And then we are going to need your entries by January 7th. And you can actually enter the contest 2 different ways. If you would like to help decorate the library for the winter season and celebrate winter reading, you can actually bring in your snowman and we will display it around the library. Or you can just submit a photo for it. And really the key thing when you're selecting book characters and you're looking at what you're doing, since these are going to be on display, everything has to stay family friendly. These are going to be being viewed by children, dear adults. So keep that in mind as you're picking out whatever it is that you're doing. Doesn't mean you can't do an adult book like it, but think about what your snowman's going to look like and making sure that that is going to be okay to display around the library system. And if you guys are really just like, I don't have craft supplies at home, or I don't have the right thing that I'm looking for at home, we are going to have a open create time on January 4th, which is going to be a Tuesday, from 3 to 5 p.m. in our brand new makerspace, which is going to be at the main library in downtown Anderson. It's going to be on the 2nd floor. You're going to go up the stairs, you're going to head straight back. We'll have staff on hand, and some of the staff that has created these awesome things will be on hand to help give you guys ideas on different ways to bring your character to life. And we will also have supplies that you can come in and use and create your own snowman just here. And then maybe you want to leave it with us so we can display it, or we can just grab a picture of it and we can enter you into the contest that way. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to email us at the Makerspace. It's going to be ECC, because we're the Electric City Creative, at andersonlibrary.org. And I am looking so forward to seeing all of the really cool things I know you guys are going to come up with your snowmen.